Well, hi folks, this is Lee from skirmishwargames.com. I'm here with Lynn.
Hello.
And welcome to another of our website exclusive bonus videos. So thanks for joining us. Today we're looking at the COGS Army Box for AT-43. This is the sci-fi tabletop skirmish game from Rackham Entertainment, which ran from approximately 2006 to 2010. And if you've been following this series on our YouTube channel and here on the website, then you watched us unbox the AT-43 Operation Damocles starter set, which had the UNA and the Therians. We also opened up the Red Block starter set. And what was the other one? Oh, the ONI, the Diabolical Space Corporation. We opened up that one as well. So today we're opening up the final AT-43 box set that we have on the shelf. There may be other ones out there we're not aware of, but this is the last one we have. And these are the COGS, who are self-proclaimed masters of evolution, apparently. So basically the COGS are aggressive gray alien cloners who aspire to be the most successful life form in the universe. So when the COGS first encountered the Therians wiped out most of the COG genetic lines, and they only left like 4 remaining out of like 36. But the last lines regrouped and launched a counteroffensive, and eventually they captured thousands of Therian worlds. So, whoops. So basically the COGS are cloners, and they just crank out billions of clone soldiers with accompanying battle suits and ships and things. And now the Therians have their hands full trying to blunt the COG expansion. So yeah, they could have handled that better maybe. So we're going to see what all the fuss is about and open up our COGS box set. And this one, I believe, unlike the other box sets we looked at, still has the factory seal on it, unless they just closed it back up again. But the other ones we looked at were pre-owned, mostly intact as far as we can tell. This one may be completely unopened, I'm not sure. It's got 4 tabs on it, so that's a good sign. So we're going to open this up, and one thing about the COGS is they look a little bit more like action figures than wargaming miniatures, but we'll just have to see. So there are some pretty cool war machines in here, it looks like. And again, all of these figures are pre-painted, just like the other AT-43 box sets. So they were designed to be battle ready, so someone could buy this at the hobby shop or perhaps at the toy store and just take it home. And if they had a friend who had an opposing faction, then they could just lay down a battle mat, throw down their terrain, and they'd be ready to go. So this business model ultimately did not work out for Rackham, perhaps because of the financial crisis or other factors. But we're happy to have this box set, especially with Stargrave coming up, because it's always nice to have some ready-to-go aliens and battle suits and terrain in case we need to throw that down to create an impromptu Stargrave scenario. So, Lynn, are you ready to deploy the box knife and break open the factory seal? We don't know if that's the original seal. Maybe this box has never been opened before, but we're going to open it. Slice. Oh no, the value plummets.
I want to play with the toys.
That's right. Okay, here we go. The COGS, the masters of evolution. And there we go, COGS. So because it's pretty noisy to pull these things out of the plastic, and because sometimes the plastic can get a little bit brittle, and these guys are kind of snug in there, we're going to take a moment and pull everything out so we can show you the pieces individually. So let's do that. Yeah, so already I can see that the shipping container is still wired in, so I doubt someone would have rewired that. But here's the legs and some components for one of our big walkers. And as we mentioned before, sometimes the glue gives out. So it looks like this guy here, looks like some of the glue has gotten brittle and broken off. But the plastic is intact, so he's easily repairable. So I'm not too worried about that. So there is our COGS war machine. And there's a little bit of chipping and weathering on the armor, which is kind of cool. So the paint quality in these sets varies from set to set. And hopefully this is one of the better ones, but we'll see. So this box set, kind of like the box sets we looked at previously, has a blast template. It has basic versions of the rules in several languages. It has a battle mat here, a paper battle mat. So we're not going to look at that again because we've already seen it, but I will show you the tape here. So this box has maybe been sealed since 2009, and so the tape has gone yellow. Some of the plastic is probably pretty brittle and some of the glue has probably started to give out. So we just need to keep that into account as we open everything up. So the one thing that stands out immediately is in the other AT-43 box sets, these concrete barriers were single pieces. Here, to be different, they have glued one on top of the other and given the bottom concrete barrier stripes. So that's a little bit different. We haven't seen them do that with the other sets. And so it's a little strange, but works just fine if you need taller barriers. So we get 3 of those. So here's our jumbo walker, and he's pretty sizable. So
His name is Vandal.
His name is Vandal. Here's one of the gray aliens. And just for scale, here is a little red block trooper, so you can see how big the Vandal and the COGS are compared to a normal little assault trooper. So he has a heavy quantum cannon and a heavy quantum mortar. And he came in several pieces, and it looks like they did attempt to do a little bit of chipping and weathering on his armor there, so that's appreciated. But yeah, if you gave this to a kid for Christmas and told him it was a Transformer or something, he probably wouldn't know the difference. He probably wouldn't know that this is a scale model for tabletop wargaming, but that's fine. So this is the COG war machine known as Vandal. And what do we have? We have a Prowler as well. So the Prowler is quite a bit smaller. He also has a little bit of weathering on him. He might benefit from a little bit of wash on some of his chrome parts there, maybe paint in the hoses, and you could add a little more detail if you wanted. But otherwise, he's painted up and ready to go. So I think our Vandal actually lost some armor plating. This piece fell off, and we have another little fragment here. But since the plastic is more or less intact, that's an easy repair. So I think that's part of his skirt. There's 2 little pieces there that just go in there somewhere. So we can get this guy fixed up, no problem. We also have various COGs, various cloned creatures. So this guy here who towers over the poor little red block dude, he is a Synapse G36. He's got a rocket launcher, quantum rifle, and another quantum rifle. So he's packing 2 handheld quantum rifles. Pretty tall, right? Compared to the little guys. This guy here is a Synapse G45, and he has a rocket launcher and 2 quantum blades. So he is more of a hand-to-hand unit. Though he's rocking a couple of shoulder-mounted rocket launchers, so that's always helpful. Just don't fire those in close combat. You won't like the results. Sharpshooter. Quantum rifle and quantum rifle. So they like to equip their guys with double quantum rifles, it looks like. So we got about 4 of those. And these guys are the warmongers, as opposed to the fishmongers. They have a quantum pistol and a quantum blade. And is that it?
Nope.
Is that everyone?
We got this last guy.
And one more guy. So that is Synapse 609 or G09, I can't tell. Quantum rifle and quantum blade. So you can tell the COGs are pretty much the same type of creature, but they equip them with different weaponry. And there's not as many of them. So in the red block box, we got a ton of little collectivists with assault rifles. And with the COGs, you just get a few of these big, tall aliens and a couple of war machines. And I guess 1 tall COG is the equivalent of a half dozen little pseudo-Soviets, little space Soviets. They are pretty cool. Now that I see them up close, I'm a little less dubious. At first, I thought they were just like, yeah, a little bit more like action figures, but they're not too bad. These guns and things, they are pre-painted, these minis are, but I think throwing a little oil in there on some of these weapons would help a little bit, and a few little highlights if you wanted to go to the trouble. Otherwise, what we're using them for is just to have some ready-to-go aliens on standby in case the game calls for them, in case maybe we're playing Stargrave and we roll for a wandering monster and we need some kind of an alien. Then just pull him out of the drawer, take him off the shelf, and he's ready to go. And finally, let's take a look at our shipping container. I love how all of the factions and races, with the exception of the Therians, I guess, I don't think they have corrugated shipping containers, but everybody else seems to use this same type of shipping container, even though the colors are a little bit different. So maybe just for the sake of consistency and convenience, they load everything into identical shipping containers and just load them on cargo ships, and that's interplanetary trade. These cargo containers, though, are pretty darn useful, so we have a bunch of them. So here's one more for the pile. All right, well, I guess that is the contents of the COG Army box for AT-43, and this little red block guy is hoping he doesn't have to fight too many of these guys, or at least that maybe some of his compatriots will show up and provide him a little fire support, because he's all alone amongst all these aliens. But maybe he's part of the trade delegation. Maybe he's just negotiating for COG help to fight the Therians or the UNA. Okay, Lynn, well, this is the final video in our AT-43 unboxing series, so what do you think?
They've got some pretty cool figures in each of them that we'll be able to use, I think.
Yeah.
And the terrain is always useful.
The quality of the paint job varies from box to box. The terrain is always pretty useful. The shipping containers and the concrete barriers are very nice. And frankly, it's just useful for us to have some ready-to-go aliens and soldiers and war machines and things like that, so that we don't have to paint every single unit for every single game that we play, particularly with a game like Stargrave that might have a long list of wandering type adversaries to come onto the board. So instead of having to make sure we have one of every one of those already painted, we can just pluck them out of the AT-43 drawer and proxy whatever we need. So that'll be pretty helpful. So all right then, I guess that is a wrap on our COGS Army Box unboxing, and also a wrap on our AT-43 unboxing series. We have unboxed all of the box sets we have for AT-43. We do have some individual units lying around that you'll probably see pop up in a game at some point, some kind of generic sci-fi game. But until that time, as always, thanks very much for stopping by and checking out the bonus video series here on the website. And we hope to be posting more of these kind of shorter videos frequently in the months and weeks ahead. So we hope you'll come back and check those out. But until then, thanks again, and we'll see you soon.